One of the most frustrating feelings in the world is when someone goes from lighting up your phone every day to suddenly disappearing without a trace. You replay conversations, check your messages, even wonder if you did something wrong. And here's the truth: most people won't tell you chasing them harder will only push them further away. So, what actually pulls them back? That's what we're about to talk about today. Pulling back someone who disappeared isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about remembering your worth, creating space, radiating energy, and setting clear standards. Because when someone comes back, it should be because they realize what an extraordinary thing it is to be in your life. If you want, I can also add a killer 20-second opening teaser that would make this speech hook people instantly on YouTube or TikTok before they scroll away. That would make it very shareable. When someone suddenly disappears from your life, the first instinct most people have is to close the distance immediately. You feel this urgency to send them a message, to call them, to find out what went wrong. You might replay conversations in your head, searching for a moment you might have messed up. That panic is natural, because our brains are wired to want certainty, and when someone pulls away, it triggers that fear of rejection. But the hard truth is, the more you try to chase them, the more you risk driving them even further away. It's like trying to catch a butterfly by running at it full speed. Your movements are too big, too loud, and the butterfly just flies higher and farther out of reach. Creating space is counterintuitive, but it's one of the most powerful tools you have in this situation. When you step back instead of leaning in, you send a very different message. Instead of saying, "I need you to validate me right now," you're saying, "I value myself enough to give you room." This subtle shift in energy changes the entire dynamic. People are far more likely to notice what's missing when it's gone than when it's constantly in front of them. Your absence allows them to actually feel the space you once filled, and that creates curiosity. Think about it: if you keep showing up in someone's inbox, liking all their posts, or asking why they've gone quiet, there's no mystery. They already know you're there, waiting, available. But when you create space, you give them something new, the unknown. They start to wonder what you're up to, who you're spending time with, and why you're no longer reaching out. That wondering is what reopens the door for them to come back to you. Now, creating space doesn't mean you slam the door shut completely or try to punish them with silence. This isn't a game. It's about holding back the part of you that wants to fix things instantly, and instead trusting that your worth speaks for itself. The space you create is a quiet but powerful statement. I'm not going to chase someone who's walking away. If you want to be here, you'll choose to be here. And that choice, when it comes from them, is so much stronger than anything you could force by pushing forward. If you can resist that initial urge to close the gap and instead step back with confidence, you shift the balance in your favor. You're no longer the person trying to keep them from leaving, you're the person they have to make an effort to come back to. And that changes everything. When someone disappears from your life, it's easy to let that loss consume your energy. You might find yourself constantly thinking about them, wondering what you did wrong, or replaying every interaction in your head. That mental loop can drain you and make your world feel smaller. But if you want to pull someone back, you can't show up as the same version of yourself they walked away from. You need to elevate your energy, and that begins with shifting the focus away from them and back onto you. People are naturally drawn to those who are vibrant, alive, and in motion. Think about the people you're most attracted to. They usually have their own passions, their own social life, and their own momentum. When you see someone enjoying life, it creates a magnetic pull. The same applies here. Instead of sitting in the emptiness their absence created, fill your days with things that light you up. Go out with friends, take up a hobby, dive into a project you've been putting off. Make your life so engaging that you don't have time to sit around waiting for a message that may or may not come. This isn't about faking happiness or trying to make them jealous. It's about genuinely feeding your spirit so that you become the most authentic, radiant version of yourself. When your energy rises, it changes how people perceive you. You're not chasing approval anymore. You're living fully, and that's attractive on a deep, subconscious level. Even if they're not around to see it in person, the ripple effect of your elevated energy will eventually reach them through mutual friends, social media, or even just the shift in your tone if you speak again. Social media in particular can work in your favor here, but only if you use it with intention. Avoid posting things that look like bait for attention. Instead, share moments that reflect genuine joy and growth, a fun night out, a new skill you're learning, a trip you're taking. Let them see that life didn't stop when they stepped out of it. That quiet confidence can make them reconsider why they left in the first place. By elevating your energy, you stop being someone who's waiting for their return and become someone they want to return to. The contrast between who you were when they left and who you are now is what creates the spark of curiosity that can pull them back. You're not chasing them anymore, you're simply living in a way that makes them want to be part of your world again. If you've created space and elevated your energy, the next step is knowing how to re-enter their world without undoing all the progress you've made. The first contact after someone has disappeared can make or break the possibility of reconnection. Many people make the mistake of coming in too heavy, demanding explanations, expressing hurt, or trying to force a deep conversation right away. While it's natural to want closure or answers, starting with pressure is one of the fastest ways to push someone back into silence. Instead, your first message should feel light, natural, and safe. Think of it as knocking gently on the door instead of pounding on it. The goal isn't to confront them or guilt them into responding. It's to spark a moment of warmth and familiarity. A simple message tied to a shared memory, a funny inside joke, or something genuinely relevant to them can work wonders. For example, if you both loved a certain show and you see something about it online, you might send, "This made me think of you." You'd get the joke instantly. That kind of message doesn't demand an emotional investment from them. It just opens the door. Why does this work? Because when someone disappears, there's often an underlying tension or discomfort about reconnecting. They might feel guilty, awkward, or uncertain about how you'll react. If your first outreach removes that tension by being light and positive, you lower their defenses. They're far more likely to engage with you if the conversation feels easy and pressure-free. It's also important to keep this initial contact brief. Resist the urge to turn a single reply into a long conversation about why they pulled away. Your first message is like a spark. Your job is to ignite curiosity, not start a bonfire. If they respond, keep the tone playful and engaging, letting the conversation breathe naturally. The deeper conversations can happen later, once you've reestablished a sense of comfort and mutual interest. Another key element here is timing. Don't reach out too soon after they've disappeared. That can undo the effect of the space you created earlier. Wait until you've truly elevated your energy and you're not sending the message from a place of neediness. When you reach out from a state of self-confidence, it subtly changes the tone of your words. You're not saying, "I miss you, please come back." You're saying, "I'm doing well and I thought of you." That's an entirely different energy, and it's the kind that can make them want to step back into your life. When someone who disappeared finally comes back, it's tempting to throw the door wide open and let them back in without a second thought. After all, you've missed them, you've wanted this moment, and part of you might feel relieved just to have their attention again. But here's the risk if you welcome them back without addressing what happened or without showing that you have clear standards. You teach them that disappearing has no consequences. And the truth is, whatever you allow in those early moments will likely set the pattern for how they treat you moving forward. Keeping your standards firm doesn't mean being cold or punishing. It means knowing your worth and communicating it with calm confidence. If someone vanished without explanation, it's okay to acknowledge that it hurt or left you confused. You can do this without anger or accusations, something as simple as, "I'm glad to hear from you, but I also need to understand what happened before we move forward." Sets a boundary while keeping the door open. This tells them that being in your life isn't just about showing up when it's convenient. It's about consistency and respect. People respect what they have to earn. If they return and find you have no boundaries, they may subconsciously feel there's no need to change their behavior, because they still get all the benefits of being in your life without any accountability. But when you hold steady to your standards, you show them that your attention, time, and emotional investment are valuable, and value creates attraction. It's also important to remember that your standards aren't just for them, they're for you. They act as a filter that helps you decide whether someone's return is genuine or just a moment of boredom or convenience. If they're truly interested in rebuilding a connection, they'll respect your boundaries and be willing to meet them. If they're not, their unwillingness will reveal itself quickly, and you'll save yourself from falling into the same cycle again. Ultimately, keeping your standards firm ensures that if they do come back, it's because they see your worth clearly, not because they know you'll always be there waiting. You're not trying to trap them into staying. You're creating a space where only those who value you deeply will remain. And in the long run, that's far better than having someone in your life who thinks they can disappear and reappear without any thought for how it affects you. Pulling someone back who has disappeared is not about clever tricks or manipulative tactics. It's about understanding human connection at its core. When a person pulls away, the instinct to chase is strong, but resisting that urge is where your real power lies. By creating space, you allow them to notice the absence you leave behind. Space isn't emptiness, it's a quiet reminder of your presence and the value you bring. In that silence, they're left to think, to feel, and to remember what it was like to have you in their world. It gives them the opportunity to choose to return, instead of being pushed back into the connection before they're ready. But space alone isn't enough. You have to transform the version of yourself that existed before they left. Elevating your energy means becoming the most engaged, vibrant, and alive version of yourself, not for their benefit, but for your own fulfillment. It's about showing that your life is rich and full, with or without them in it. This shift changes how they see you, because people are drawn to energy and self-assuredness. When they see that you are thriving, it creates curiosity, and curiosity can be the spark that brings them closer again. When the moment comes to reconnect, it's not about unloading all your emotions or demanding immediate answers. It's about opening the door gently, with warmth and lightness, so the interaction feels safe. That first message, rooted in familiarity or shared humor, is like a gentle tap rather than a loud knock. It lowers their defenses and makes it easier for them to step toward you. You're not forcing a conversation, you're inviting one. That invitation, combined with the curiosity you've created, gives them a reason to cross the gap themselves. And when they finally do return, the true test begins, keeping your standards firm. Because if they reappear and you accept them without boundaries, the cycle of disappearing can repeat itself. Your standards communicate that while you value them, you also value yourself. It tells them that being in your life comes with the responsibility of respect and consistency. In the end, pulling someone back who disappeared isn't about making them afraid to leave. It's about inspiring them to stay, because they see how extraordinary it is to be part of your life. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time here with me today. I truly appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to listen, learn, and grow alongside me. If this message added value to your life, don't forget to give it a like, share it with someone who might need it, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Your support means the world to me, and it's what keeps this community alive and growing. Until next time, take care of yourself, protect your peace, and remember, you are worth so much more than you realize. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.